University doesn't mean you don't need to pick before Christmas. If you really want to prepare something, you have to learn how to Hey everyone, it's Suki, and for today's video, I'm going to talk about my first year university experience. Since I realized that a lot of my viewers and the comments I get, I even got emails about university questions. I feel like this would be really useful for any people that's going to enter their first year of university or just curious about what university is like. I've also made a previous video answering all the university biggest assumptions, which I've covered many general questions in, which I think is really useful if you want to know more about a generalized university experience. This is more personal, what my first year was like. But if you want to get some information more than advice from me, then you should press on to the card or the link in the description box after you watch this video, because that is a really good video. Before I start, I just want to clarify that I study in the University of Sheffield, which is a UK university, so everything I say will be based on the UK, and I'm studying digital media and society, if you're wondering. So luckily I passed my first year. If you want to know what I get, I have a reaction to my results video as well, and I'll put a card up here and a link in the description box below, just as usual. But anyway, I'll stop rambling and I'll get the video started. Actually, I'm midway filming and I just want to put this in the very beginning because this is the biggest assumption ever. I've covered this in my last video, but I just really want to tell you this, university doesn't mean drinking. If you don't drink, personally, based on religion, health issue, whatever, you don't have to be worried that you will be the odd one out or you won't be able to fit in because you don't drink. Just don't assume everyone in university drinks excessively, because I personally don't like drinking. I can drink, I don't have any restriction, but I choose not to drink, and all my friends are cool. I go partying, I go hang out with my friends. I just don't drink before I go partying. It's fine to go clubbing sober, okay? So I'm just gonna put it out there that don't be scared, okay? People are people, they are nice, they understand. And if you have a bunch of friends that just don't want to hang out with you because you don't want to drink, then don't be friends with them, because they're not friends if they treat you like that. So my biggest advice is, this is actually something quite bad to say, but I realized through my first year of university is that you don't really need to do all of your readings. So basically your teacher, your professor, you call them professor now, your professor will normally give you a bunch of core reading for each module you take, and I normally just read 1 or 2 from the core reading. There's normally 5 to 6 books that you have to read, some in chapters, some whole book, but normally I just read a few. Of course you need to read your reading, but you really don't need to read everything. And pre-reading before university, I don't think it's essential, but it really depends on what course you do, because my course is more chill compared to medicine and dentistry, so yeah, you really have to research on your own course. But if you're doing my course, digital media and society, in the University of Sheffield, then of course subscribe, because I'll give you so much information. But you don't really need to do pre-reading or any preparation, because everyone comes from different backgrounds, and the first year is just really great for you to prepare throughout the first year, and you don't have to do anything throughout the summer, I think. The second thing is that if you really want to prepare something, you have to learn how to reference. This is something that will be really helpful in your university years, because I'm sure in secondary school / high school you've never done referencing before, unless you've done something called EPQ, which requires you to reference. But each university has a different style of referencing, and for me, I have to do the Harvard referencing style. Every single essay you write that you submit, you have to put a reference list at the end of the essay, just to show that you've used enough sources, you use good sources, and you're not plagiarizing over other people's work. So referencing is definitely something new to me, and I really had to practice a lot just to get the hang of it. It actually takes so long to reference. So one tip is that just if you ever quote something, just put it down. Don't quote it and then leave it till the last thing and then you have to find the quote on the page. Just write the page number down, the author, the publisher down. Like, reference while you write. It just saves you so much time. When you finish writing the essay, the last thing you want to do is just to go over all the quotes and references you've chosen from like books, and you have to find them in like within the 400 pages to find your one sentence. That just takes forever. So if you do want to prepare for university, go on YouTube, go on any website and just learn how to reference. My second tip, advice, and through my experience is that you have to join societies. I feel like I've covered that already in my previous assumptions video about how important society is, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but just join society because you meet new people, you learn new skills, and try something you haven't tried before, because university is a place where you can start brand new. Third is that I advise you not to pick catered accommodation, because it is really common for people to get really worried, especially the parents. Really, it's my parents that made me chose catered, is that your parents just don't really have faith in you, and they just assume that since you've been like fed by your parents your entire life, you should be fed by university too, just in case you get like hungry and starve. So my advice is just pick a self-catered, because even though I'm catered, I still want to eat things that I want to eat, since if you're catered, you don't really have a choice on what you eat. You just eat whatever the university offers. But so ultimately you will learn how to cook, especially if you come from like a different background. And I'm Chinese and I'm going to the Western like place, so the things they eat of course will be different from what I eat at home. So I had to learn how to cook because I wanted to eat like noodles and like Asian food. Like, there's really no point of being catered when you will be self-catering yourself. And normally second year you will probably move out, and when you move out, there's no like flat out there that will have a chef to cook for you. So you will 90% be self-catered anyway. So I feel like it's better for you to be self-catered the first year, just so you get used to it. And normally self-catered accommodations are nicer anyway. Fourth is that don't bring too many suitcases to your foreign country if you're traveling overseas like me. Just pack light, because you really have to keep in mind that if you're going to UK and you're in like another country, UK is also a city itself, and there's tons of things that you can actually buy there. So like, don't bring like desk lamp, rice cooker. Like, these are all things that you can actually buy in the UK. And like, the last thing you want is that your luggage to be overweight. Just bring what is necessary to bring, which you don't think you can buy with you, which will save you so much more luggage space. And like, you'll thank me when you have to take the train from the airport to where you live, because I live in Sheffield and I fly to Manchester and take the train to Sheffield, and you have to bring like 3 luggages. That's just horrible. Like, my maximum is 2 big luggages. That's all I can carry. So just keep in mind how you have to get to your accommodation. If you're lucky you live in where your airport is, like if you live in Manchester and you're flying to Manchester, it's a lot easier for you. But if you're gonna live in places like Leeds, Nottingham, Sheffield, I don't know, Dundee, Lancaster, they don't really have an airport of its own. Maybe a small airport, but not an international one. You really have to take into account how much you're traveling, and just think if you're capable of carrying all your luggages safely back to your accommodation without just like killing yourself. Okay, my 5th tip, I think, is that you make use of your student discount. For me, I live in Sheffield, and since Sheffield is quite a student city, many of the restaurants or like shopping places, they have like 10% student discount. Whenever you buy anything, go to any restaurant, even though if it doesn't say there's a student discount like in the door, you can just ask, oh, is there a student discount? And there might be. If not, then it's fine. At least you tried, because if you don't ask, the answer will always be no. This is my last tip that I've written on my laptop, is that you don't need to pick your housing before Christmas. I feel like a lot of properties and landlords makes it really pressurizing for freshers and first year students to pick their second year housing before Christmas, since they want like their property gone securely as soon as possible, right? So they make it really rush, or like, oh, it's gonna be gone after Christmas, like you're not gonna find any housing after Christmas. You don't have to rush it, okay? Just like, there will always be a flat available, okay, girl or boy. Just like, it's just their way to advertise and to like push you to purchase their flat or house, you really have to try and consider all the different properties, all the different choices. Don't rush housing, because that is the only thing that will stick to you for your whole year next year, or even your third year if you found a really good one and you want to stay. So you really don't have to, even if your friends like have chosen the flat before Christmas, that doesn't mean you need to. So that's all the tips I have, but I just want to tell you more like personal things. As I said, this video will be more personal, but I kind of listed out all the general tips that I've personally learned. I guess that counts. But I just feel like my first year was such a blast. I thoroughly enjoyed everything. Like, I joined so many societies, met so many people. I love everyone who lives in my accommodation. Everyone's really nice. It's just made me really more independent and just learn how to live on my own and learn how to cook. Just gain a lot of new skills that I never thought I would have. I also learned how to manage my work better. It's just a great experience. Like, you will love university. I actually love it so much more than high school. And just being in a new country as well is like an eye-opening experience for me, and I have become so much more confident, found my new hobbies, and yeah, I just want to tell you guys that don't be nervous about going to university, because it will be so fun. Like, trust me, I was so nervous before flying to the UK. Like, I literally was shaking when I stepped into Sheffield, because I've never been there before, but you'll get used to it so quickly and you won't get homesick probably. If you do, it's normal, don't worry. Like, I thought I would get homesick, but I didn't, which is great, and I'm like the person that always gets homesick. So yeah, anyway, that's the end of this week's video. I really don't know what else to say. That's everything I have to say for my first year, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Met this girl down by the vine, had long 10